Today I'm going to show you something really exciting from Toyota's Go Fast team, TRD. Toyota Racing Development reckons this new model is more stylish and more sporty than the regular version. This should be great. I love reviewing sports cars. Hang on. This is the TRD I'm reviewing? A Hilux? Are you kidding? This sporty-looking new model is the catchily named 2017 Toyota Hilux with TRD accessories. We'll call it the Hilux TRD from here on. It features a number of additional styling bits that will see it fight against flagship, style-focused utes offered by rival brands. It's based on the Toyota Hilux SR5 dual-cab diesel model, one of the biggest selling versions and also the most expensive one. And with the equipment package fitted to this version, the price is higher than we've seen it since the last proper TRD Hilux with the supercharged petrol V6 engine. That's right, the 6-speed automatic version we have here costs $60,990 in white or $61,540 in black. If you want a manual, you can save $2,000. That's not quite as expensive as some flagship rival utes like the Ford Ranger Wildtrak and Volkswagen Amarok Ultimate V6, but it is still quite a bit of money when you consider that it's just an SR5 with some extra styling bits. The parts sourced from Toyota Racing Development include a new black grille, TRD lower bumper finisher, a red skid plate to protect the underbody when you're bush bashing, and 4 body broadening wheel arch flares. There are new 18-inch black alloys tucked under those flares, and they have the same Dunlop tyres as the SR5 model. The shininess has been removed from the sports bar and the tub too, while there's also a tub liner, soft tonneau, tail light covers, mud flaps, and tow kit included. Look, it's not my job to tell you that the Hilux TRD looks better than the regular SR5, but come on, it does. And underneath all that TRD trickery, you still get these excellent auto-leveling LED headlights with daytime running lights. As well as that, you still get the black side steps, keyless entry, and push-button start. While the safety situation with the Hilux is decent, it isn't as good as the Ranger. You can't get all the active safety aids like forward collision warning, lane departure warning, and lane keeping assistance, as well as adaptive cruise control. Still, there's a rear view camera and you get 7 airbags, including curtain airbag coverage for the rear seats, which is more than we can say for the VW. On the inside, there's only a couple of changes like TRD floor mats. You still get all the stuff the SR5 has, including climate control, cruise control, and a touchscreen media unit with satellite navigation. Further to that, you get Toyota Link app compatibility, as well as DAB digital radio and Bluetooth, and an electrically adjustable driver's seat and multi-function steering wheel. No matter what spec of Hilux you're looking at, the dual cab version doesn't have the best space in class. Headroom is a little bit tight. We're convinced these hard grab handles could prove hazardous off-road. Knee room and tow room could be better as well, but if you're only hauling around the kids, could be just fine. Not so much for the bigger burly work buds. It may look more exciting outside, but the interior of the TRD isn't quite as special as it should be. It's just an SR5 in here. The Hilux lacks the latest connectivity that you can get in other utes. There's no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto mirroring. And while the Bluetooth is quick to connect and reconnect, it's frustrating when you're driving because it blocks you from entering numbers or picking out contacts from your phone's list. Otherwise, the cabin is decently finished. There's good storage throughout and the controls are reasonably positioned. But as for how it drives, nothing has changed. The drivetrain in this is the same 2.8-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel you find in the regular SR5. And this time around, there is no supercharged petrol option from TRD, which is probably a good thing because that was extremely thirsty. With identical outputs as the regular engine, there's 130 kilowatts of power and 450 newton meters of torque at the driver's disposal. Toyota is offering the TRD with a 6-speed manual gearbox as well as the 6-speed auto we have on test. Nothing's changed with the transmission either, aside from a new TRD gear knob. The Hilux might not have as much grunt as some of its bigger engine competitors, but it does offer good linearity to the way it revs. Sure, there's a bit of turbo lag if you stomp on the throttle, but it builds pace nicely with a good level of refinement. The gearbox is well sorted, and there's a power mode that allows you to push a little harder if you need to. One thing that may catch some drivers unaware is the gradient braking system, which will drop back a few gears when you're going downhill to allow for engine braking. It can be quite noisy when it's doing that. The biggest letdown on the Hilux is its suspension and steering. The steering is quite heavy at low speeds, particularly when you're trying to park the thing, and the fact that you've got no front or rear sensors means those situations can involve a little bit of guesswork. Thankfully, the rear view camera does help. The steering is reasonably direct in corners and decently reactive as well. The suspension though is painful pretty much all the time, particularly if you're running around without a load in the back. It feels quite ungainly over bumps, with the tray trembling as the suspension settles after a sharp edge. We put a few hundred kilos of slate tiles in the back, and the rear suspension appreciated it. It made it feel a little bit more settled, but still not perfect. When it comes to off-road credentials, the Hilux has plenty, and this spec includes a rear differential lock, electronic transfer case with switch on the fly four-wheel drive, hill start assist, and hill descent control. It's a really good thing off-road with good articulation and 279mm of ground clearance, which is plenty, but we suspect that the TRD model with that bash plate might just have a little bit less. The plus of that heavy steering off-road is that you can feel everything that's happening at the front axle. It comes right through the steering wheel into the driver's hands. But the bad side is that the ride is still punishing. In fact, you can feel everything inside you being shaken up, and it's not comfortable at all. It wouldn't be a Toyota without solid ownership potential, but bear in mind that while the company's reputation for longevity may be well founded, the brand's 3-year 100,000 kilometre warranty is shorter than some rivals. And you need to get it serviced every 6 months or 10,000 kilometres, which is more regular than most other utes you can buy. So no, we didn't end up taking the Toyota Hilux TRD to the racetrack, and that's probably a good thing because it's not what this vehicle is all about. Look, our advice is that if you want a ute with the latest in-car connectivity and safety technology, then have a look at a Ford Ranger in a high spec. But if you want a vehicle that you can potentially throw everything at and still look good out the front of the work site, then this could be just for you.